Good morning, students. So today we are going to discuss Kohl-Ross law and one equation which shows the variation of molar conductivity with concentration of solution. Okay, that equation is called D by Huckel-Onsager equation. Okay. Now, first of all, what do we understand by molar conductivity? Now see, it is symbolized by lambda m. Okay, and lambda m is equal to kappa by c. Here kappa is conductivity and c is the concentration. Okay, now since it is molar conductivity, so c concentration denotes the molarity, or it is molar concentration. Okay, now in general it is the conducting power of all the ions produced when 1 mole of a solute is dissolved in a particular solvent. Okay, now see, from this expression lambda m is equal to kappa by c, what we can say in terms of units. In terms of units, if we are saying that conductivity kappa is expressed in Simon per meter and concentration C is expressed in mole per meter cube, okay, then units of molar conductivity lambda m will be Simon meter square mole inverse. Okay, now see, we must remember this also, conversion of units. 1 mole per meter cube is equal to see 1000 liter per meter cube multiplied by molarity. Molarity units are mole per liter. Okay, so if we want to replace 1 mole per meter cube, then we can replace it by 1000 having unit liter per meter cube multiplied by molarity. Molarity is having units mole per liter. So if we write these units, then this becomes the equation. Okay, so as I told you, C stands for molarity. Okay, so here we can say that if we use units in place of Simon per meter, we use Simon centimeter inverse as the units of kappa and mole per centimeter cube as the units of concentration. Then units of molar molar conductance will be, molar conductivity will be Simon centimeter square per mole. Okay, now see, this is the way they have written. These are the units of lambda m, these are the units of kappa. Okay, these are the units of molarity. Okay, and this stands for whether we are taking in ml or centimeter cube, then we have to multiply by 1000. Okay, so what is known to us now, that either we can use these units, okay, or we can use these units. So we are asked many times what are the units of molar conductance, then what we will say, the units of molar conductance are Simon meter square per mole, or we will say Simon centimeter square mole inverse. Okay, so these are the units of molar conductivity. Okay, now let us solve one question on the basis of whatever formulae we have done till now. We have done now that molar conductivity or molar conductance lambda m is equal to kappa by c. Okay, this is the formula which we have done. Now one more formula we have done, that cell constant is equal to product of conductivity and resistance. Okay, cell constant is L over A, conductivity is C, resistance is R. So this is also one of the formula. Now in this question there are two ways in which we can solve this. One method is this one, okay, and another one is this one. Okay, so we can use any one of the two. Now first of all, cell constant we have to calculate from the given data. So we are given with conductivity value is given and resistance value is given. So when we multiply those two, then we get the value of cell constant, and this value comes out to be 1.29 per centimeter. Okay, now we have to calculate conductivity of 0.02 mole per liter KCl solution. So again we will apply the same formula, that cell constant is equal to conductivity into resistance. So conductivity is equal to cell constant over resistance. So conductivity value comes out to be 0.248 Simon per meter. Okay, now what is given to us? We are given concentration value is given 0.02 mole per liter. Our given solution, KCl solution, is 0.02 mole per liter. So we will change mole per liter into mole per meter cube. Okay, so for that we have to multiply this by 1000. Okay, now we will calculate the value of molar conductivity. So molar conductivity is equal to kappa by C. Now both the values are with us, so we can put the values and we can calculate the value of lambda m. Okay, now see, this is 0.248 Simon per meter and this is 20 mole per meter cube. Okay, now I can write this as 248 multiplied by or this way you can check it, 248 divided by 1000. So 248 divided by 10 raised to power 3 or 248 multiplied by 10 raised to power minus 3. So this is the value of K, kappa, and this is the value of C. So after putting the values, we calculate that lambda m is equal to this much. Okay, so this is one of the way, and in second way what we did, we calculated kappa by putting the values like this, 1.29 per centimeter divided by 520 ohm. Okay, and then the value comes out to be this much for kappa. Okay, now once the kappa value is known, then by putting the values in the standard formula, what is the formula? Lambda m is equal to kappa into 1000 over molarity. So if we use that formula, then also we can calculate this. Okay, so these are two different methods by which we can calculate the conductivity. Okay, now it comes to variation of conductivity and molar conductivity with concentration. Conductivity means kappa we are talking about, molar conductivity means lambda m we are talking about. Okay, now in general, first of all we will discuss both conductivity and molar conductivity change with the concentration of the electrolyte. Conductivity always decreases with decrease in concentration. Okay, now question comes, why conductivity decreases with decrease in concentration? Now why it happens? Because number of ions per unit volume, it decreases on dilution. Okay, suppose there is presence of 100 ions in 1 liter solution, and when we are diluting it, suppose I have put 1 liter solvent more, then what happened now? Now those 100 ions have distributed in 2 liter of solvent or solution. So what will happen now? Per unit volume, number of ions that will decrease. Okay, so there is decrease in concentration. Okay, so conductivity value will decrease with decrease in concentration. Okay, Now conductivity of a solution at any given concentration is the conductance of 1 unit volume. Conductivity of a solution is conductance of 1 unit volume of solution kept between two platinum electrodes with unit area of cross section and a distance of unit length. Okay, now what is being said here? Here they are using the definition of cell constant. See, this conductance is equal to conductivity multiplied by A by L. A is area of cross section, L is distance of separation of the two electrodes. So what is said, that this value, conductivity value, will be equal to conductance. This is conductance and this is conductivity. So conductivity value will be equal to conductance if we have taken a solution which is separated by a distance of unit length and the area of cross section, that is 1 meter square. Okay, so if there is 1 unit volume of solution, in other terms what we can say, 1 unit volume of solution. Okay, this represents 1 unit volume of solution. If 1 unit volume of solution is there, then conductivity and conductance will have same value. Okay, from definition what we said, that if A is equal to 1 unity, this distance of separation is equal to unity, then kappa will be equal to G, or conductivity will be equal to conductance. Okay, now what about molar conductivity? Molar conductivity just we discussed. One more definition we can see here. Molar conductivity of a solution is the conductance of the volume V containing 1 mole of electrolyte kept between two electrodes with area of cross section A and distance of unit length. Okay, means distance between the two electrodes is unity and area of cross section is A, okay, which is unity, then molar conductance will be equal to kappa. Okay, so this is the molar conductivity, molar conductance. Now see here what is to be remembered, that when we are talking about molar conductivity, then this is taken for 1 mole of solute dissolved in a solution. Now if we take V volume, okay, then V volume must have 1 mole of electrolyte. Just like we gave one more definition, that it is the conducting power of all the ions produced when 1 mole of electrolyte is dissolved in a solution. Or we can say, if V is the volume of solution, then it must contain 1 mole of electrolyte. Okay, now L value is 1, just like we said. So from this equation what we get, if L value is 1 and A means it tells us about the volume V which contains 1 mole of electrolyte. So our formula will become lambda m is equal to kappa into V. Okay, so now from this formula we can see what are the what is the difference between variation of conductivity and molar conductivity. Now see, from this equation what we can say, that lambda m is proportional to V. And what is V? V is the volume which contains 1 mole of electrolyte. So if we dilute, then what we are going to do? If we dilute our solution, then volume will increase. Volume will increase, and lambda m depends on volume. So if volume increases, then it means molar conductivity value will increase. Molar conductivity value will increase. Okay, now when we are increasing the volume, just now we discussed, when we increase the volume, then what happens? Then concentration value decreases, because number of ions per unit volume decreases. So what we can say here, that molar conductivity value increases with decrease in concentration. And how decrease in concentration is obtained? By dilution. Okay, so this is the difference between variation of conductivity and molar conductivity. Now one more term comes. What is limiting molar conductivity? This is very important, or this is symbolized by lambda m naught, or we can write like this also, lambda m infinity. Lambda m infinity and lambda m naught, they are one and same thing. Okay, now when we are diluting a particular solution, and when its concentration approaches to zero, when concentration approaches to zero, what does it mean? It means at infinite dilution. Okay, concentration approaches to zero means at infinite dilution, the whatever conductivity value is there at infinite dilution, whatever is the conductivity value, that value is known as molar conductivity or limiting molar conductivity. That value is known as limiting molar conductivity, and this is the symbol with which we denote it. Okay, lambda m naught. Now we will see how lambda m varies with concentration. Okay. Okay, now first of all, since electrolytes are of two types, one is strong electrolyte and another one is weak electrolyte, so let us discuss one by one. So first is strong electrolytes. For strong electrolytes, lambda m increases slowly with the dilution. Okay, and this is one equation. This equation is called d by Huckel-Onsager equation. These are the names of scientists who have given it. D by Huckel-Onsager equation, which relates lambda m with lambda m naught and concentration. Now here A is a constant. Its value depends on the type of electrolyte in the solution, which electrolyte we have taken, how it is furnishing the ions. On those factors it depends. Okay, so when we have to see its variation, then what we have to do, we have to draw a plot between lambda m and under root c. Okay, when we compare this equation with the equation of straight line y is equal to mx plus c, then here x, on x-axis we take this c, this is taken on x-axis, this is taken on y-axis. Then there is a straight line having a slope minus a and intercept. That intercept is lambda m naught. Now what does it mean? It means that if we plot a graph for strong electrolyte, then we can easily calculate the value of lambda m naught. Okay, we can easily calculate the value of lambda m naught. Okay, so from this diagram you can see, this is the diagram for strong electrolyte. So it is a straight line, and in this straight line, if we extrapolate it, extrapolation means I have to take it ahead, then it will cut somewhere on this y-axis, and that particular value will be the value of intercept, or we will say that value will be the limiting molar conductance value or limiting molar conductivity value. Okay, now what about weak electrolytes? See, this is the graph for weak electrolyte. This is for weak electrolyte. This is the graph for weak electrolyte. See, this is the curve. So if it is a curve, then what does it indicate and how we can go ahead in case of weak electrolytes? So for weak electrolytes, like acetic acid is a weak electrolyte, they have lower degree of dissociation at higher concentrations. Okay, and hence for such electrolyte, lambda m increases steeply on dilution. So what is the difference? See, there in case of strong electrolytes, what we said, lambda m increases slowly. There is slow increase in the value of lambda m. But in case of weak electrolytes, there is steep increase, there is a very large increase in the value of lambda m. Okay, and when it comes out to be a very low value, low concentration value, then this increases too much. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that when we plot lambda m versus under root c plot, then what happens? Then we can see that there is a curve. Now when there is a curve, then if we extrapolate also, then we cannot find out it will never touch the y-axis. When it will never touch y-axis, then we cannot find out the limiting molar conductance value. Okay, so what is the difference between the two? In case of strong electrolytes, the graph is a straight line where there is gradual increase in molar conductance value, and in case of weak electrolytes, there is a curve where there is very sharp increase, very fast increase in the value of lambda m. Okay, so after extrapolation, we can find out the value of lambda m naught for strong electrolyte from the graph, but in case of weak electrolyte, we cannot find the value of lambda m naught after extrapolating the graph. Okay, now for weak electrolyte, how can we obtain this value? So there is a law which is given by Kohlrausch, and that is known as Kohlrausch law of independent migration of ions. So what does it law? What does it states? This law states that limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte can be represented as the sum of the individual contributions of the anion and cation of the electrolyte. Now see, this law can also be said in other terms as when during now this way you can see it. At infinite dilution, when the dissociation is complete, each ion makes a definite contribution towards the molar conductivity value, irrespective of the nature of other ion. Okay, so what do we mean? What do we understand from this law? We understand that there is definite value of molar conductivity for a particular ion. So if ion is same, then it will have definite value as limiting molar conductivity, whether this ion is obtained from A salt or from B salt or from C salt. If ion is same, then its limiting molar conductivity value will be fixed. So this is the meaning. Now suppose we take NaCl, then NaCl will give Na positive and Cl negative ions. So molar conductivity of NaCl, limiting molar conductivity of NaCl will be the sum of the limiting molar conductivities of its ions. So there are two ions, one is Na positive, another is Cl negative. So we can write it like this. Okay, when we have to write for a individual ion, then lambda is to be written like this, and when it is to be written for a molecule or compound, then it is to be written like this. Okay, this is for compound and this is for individual ion. Okay, now let us suppose that a particular electrolyte gives V positive cations and V negative anions. Then limiting molar conductivity will be equal to V positive times limiting molar conductivity of positive ion plus V negative times limiting molar conductivity of negative ions. Okay, so this is our Kohlrausch law. Now where it is used? It is useful for calculation of four type of things. First is molar conductivity at infinite dilution of weak electrolyte. Okay, it is already written here that these are the uses for weak electrolyte. So when we are talking about these four things, then these four things are applicable for weak electrolytes. Okay, so first is we can calculate the molar conductivity at infinite dilution of a weak electrolyte. Second, we can calculate the degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte. Third, we can calculate the dissociation constant of a weak electrolyte. And fourth is we can calculate the solubility of springly soluble salts. Springly soluble salts means those salts which are having a very low value of solubility. Now, first application, how to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes. Okay, now see, here limiting molar conductivity values of three salts are given. First for NaCl, then for HCl, and third sodium acetate. Now don't confuse in this. This means acetate ion. This is acetate ion. Okay, acetate ion. Acetate ion is CH3COO negative. So NaAC means CH3COO Na. Okay. Similarly, HAC means CH3COOH. Okay. So AC stands for acetate ion. Now see, we are given the values of molar inductance for compound. Now this particular ionic compound gives Na positive and Cl negative ions. So it means this value is equal to sum of limiting molar conductance of Na positive and limiting molar conductance of Cl negative. Similarly, this value is limiting molar conductance of H positive and limiting molar conductance of Cl negative, and this is the sum of the limiting molar conductances of Na positive and acetate ion. So now what we have to do, we have to use these quantities or these terms or these values just like algebraic equations. So what we will see, whatever is required, those ions, how can we get those ions? Now what is required? Required is HAC. HAC means CH3COOH. Okay. Now CH3COOH means it will give two ions, CH3COO negative plus H positive. So we need to get the sum of acetate ion molar conductivity and H positive ion molar conductivity. Now from where we will get this sum? Okay, now if we see the data, then H positive ion is available here and AC negative ion is available here. So what we have to do? We have to take their sum. When we will take their sum, then we will get the sum of acetate ion and H positive ion. Now here Na positive and Cl negative will also come. So then we will subtract this NaCl. So what is to be done? This is the way how it will be done. Okay, now see what we will say. Lambda m naught for HAC is equal to lambda m naught for HCl, lambda m naught for HCl plus lambda m naught for NaAC minus lambda m naught for NaCl. Okay, so this gives lambda m naught for HCl, this gives lambda m naught for NaAC, and this gives lambda m naught for NaCl. So when we will write like this, then see this way we have taken, it means these ions, and then we will put the values, we will get this thing. Okay, so what will be left out? See, Na positive and Na positive will cancel, this and this will cancel, this and this will cancel. We will get only lambda m naught for H positive and lambda m naught for AC negative. Okay, which means their sum is equal to lambda m naught for HAC, and this value is this much. Okay, so what is to be remembered? Only we have to take this data as algebraic equations. Now once we know the value of lambda m naught for weak electrolyte, then we can calculate the degree of dissociation. So, okay, now in third chapter you have done, in second chapter you have done Van't Hoff factor, there you did degree of dissociation or degree of ionization. Okay, so what was the definition? Number of dissociated ions divided by total number of ions. This was the definition. So here for weak electrolyte, it is denoted by alpha. It is denoted by alpha. Okay, so alpha denotes it, and this is equal to lambda mc over lambda m naught. Here lambda mc means molar conductance at concentration C, and lambda m naught means limiting molar conductance. Okay, so if we want to calculate the degree of dissociation of a weak electrolyte, then first of all we should know what is the limiting molar conductance value of the weak electrolyte, and then we will apply this formula and we will get the value of degree of dissociation. Okay. Now third, calculation of dissociation constant. Dissociation constant or equilibrium constant, one and same thing, don't confuse in this. Here Kc means equilibrium constant or dissociation constant when concentrations are considered. Kc and Kp you have done in 11th standard. So Kc is equal to, or K is equal to C alpha square over 1 minus alpha. Now here C is the concentration and alpha is the degree of ionization or degree of dissociation. Okay, so first of all we calculated lambda m naught, okay, or lambda m infinity. Then we calculated alpha. Now by the use of alpha we can calculate the value of Kc or K. Okay, so this is our third importance or third use of Kohl-Rosch law. Last use is how to calculate the solubility of springly soluble salt. Now see, springly soluble salts are those salts which dissolve to very small extent in water. Okay. Now when they dissolve to very less extent, what we can say? We can say that in case of saturated solution, their concentration is equal to their solubility. Okay. So in place of molar concentration of springly soluble salts, we can replace that by solubility. Okay. So limiting molar conductance is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by solubility, and since solubility is to be calculated, so our formula becomes solubility is equal to kappa into 1000 over limiting molar conductance. Okay. So from limiting molar conductance and conductivity value, we can calculate the value of solubility of a weak electrolyte. Okay. Now one more numerical we can solve. See, from this given data we can calculate the value of molar conductance, degree of dissociation and conductivity. Okay. Now what else is given to us? See, the conductivity of, this is the concentration given to us and conductivity value is given to us. We have to calculate the value of lambda m naught for acetic acid. Okay. So lambda m naught is to be calculated. Acha, lambda m naught is given. Lambda m naught is given and this value is this much. Okay. So calculate the dissociation constant. Okay. Only dissociation constant is to be calculated. Dissociation constant means K or Kc is to be calculated. Now see, Kc needs alpha and alpha needs lambda m and lambda m naught. Now here in this question lambda m naught value is given. So what is required? Lambda m at the given concentration is required. Okay. So lambda m at given concentration is equal to kappa over concentration in moles per liter. So first of all we will calculate the value of lambda m. So that value comes out to be 48.15 Simon centimeter cube per mole. Once we know the value of molar conductance, then limiting molar conductance value is given to us. So alpha can be calculated by using the formula lambda mc over lambda m naught. Now this is lambda mc because C is the concentration and this is the concentration. So lambda m divided by lambda m naught value, it comes out to be this much. Okay. Now we will calculate the value of kappa. Kappa is equal to C alpha square over 1 minus alpha. Then we will calculate the value of kappa, not kappa. This is not kappa. This is equilibrium constant or dissociation constant. This is K or Kc. Since there is kappa also involved, see here. So in order to avoid this confusion, we always write Kc. Kc means equilibrium constant or dissociation constant. Okay. Okay. Now whatever we have discussed on the basis of this, you have to solve these numericals and this theory question. Okay. Thank you.